As you all know, at the end of Chapter 4, we see Huggy Wuggy. But what if I told you this might not be the real Huggy Wuggy? So after seeing the ending, fans are going crazy because our favorite character is back in the series. But I have a mind-blowing theory that might change everything. So remember in Chapter 1, when Huggy Wuggy fell from the building, the big mystery was, did he actually die or did he survive? And for a long time, we had no answer until now, when we finally see Huggy again in Chapter 4. But is this really Huggy Wuggy? Or is Mob Entertainment tricking us again? So as you all know, in Chapter 3, we saw a Huggy Wuggy hallucination. But what if I told you that the Huggy Wuggy we saw at the end of Chapter 4 was also just a hallucination? I know this theory might sound crazy at first, but stick with me for a few minutes. By the end of this video, I promise it will all make sense. So as you all know, before we saw Huggy Wuggy at the end of Chapter 4, we went through a lot. Like we fell from about 10 to 15 feet, and we fought against Doughy the Doman, and even survived a massive explosion. After all that, it's possible that we started hallucinating again. And plus, don't forget that Poppy abandoned us at the end of Chapter 4, which could have left us confused and vulnerable. Now, here's where things get interesting. Look closely at the area where Huggy Wuggy appears. So as you can see, there are a lot of flowers around him, and as you all know, that the developers often use flowers and strange atmospheres in hallucination scenes. But here's something even weirder. Who put these flowers there? I don't remember seeing flowers anywhere else in the entire Poppy Playtime series. And if we try to identify them, they look about 50% similar to a flower called Ixora coccinea. According to Google, these flowers can't grow without sunlight, but if you look at them in the game, they seem to be blooming perfectly, even though we're deep inside a factory with no sunlight at all. Something about this just doesn't add up. But there's something even more interesting to talk about. When we first saw Huggy Wuggy at the end of Chapter 4, for a brief moment, he actually looked like Kissy Missy. This could mean that we were extremely exhausted after everything we had been through, seeing weird things, hallucinating, and struggling to process reality. And don't forget, at the very end of Chapter 4, we were completely trapped inside a room. The big question is, how are we supposed to escape? Because outside that room, Huggy Wuggy is waiting for us. This makes me think that Mob Entertainment might be trying to trick us again, just like they did in Chapter 3 with the Huggy Wuggy hallucination. But remember, this is just a theory. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I'm on to something. What do you guys think? Let me know your opinion in the comments section.